All right, guys, welcome back to another video. I woke up this morning to just massive news. I am fighting a little bit of a head cold, got a little bit of sinus stuff going on here, so bear with me with my voice and my cough or whatever, but massive news. And I wanted to get it out to you guys, and we're going to go through it. It is a press release here from the CMA. It has to do with them narrowing their scope of concerns of the Microsoft Activision Blizzard merger. And as we know, they had a couple major concerns. First of all, the first one is console market, which seemingly the only company they were trying to protect there was PlayStation, because they had cut out Nintendo from all talks. I mean, they had said Nintendo isn't even a part of the console market. Second is cloud gaming, which we know Microsoft has made multiple deals for cloud gaming to bring over Call of Duty and the Activision catalog over to all of these different cloud gaming platforms like Boosteroid, Ubisoft, NVIDIA GeForce Now. And they have said in their response that pretty much anybody who wants Call of Duty and the Activision catalog for cloud gaming will get it. And we're going to provide a royalty-free worldwide license for the game for anybody who's purchased it on any service to be able to play it on any cloud gaming platform that they want. So anyone who wants a cloud gaming deal is going to be getting it, essentially. And then the third part was the enforcement. How is this, all of these promises that Microsoft and Xbox are making, going to be enforced? Which they have come to a discussion that they're going to get a third party in there that is objective, that the CMA will be okay with, to be able to enforce all of the stuff and all the remedies that Microsoft is going to be making for this deal. But this was the big news that just dropped, and they're narrowing their concerns because they are taking out the fact that they are concerned about the console market. So they aren't out there trying to protect the PlayStation platform in the console market now, which is official based off of this report. It says in February, the Competition and Markets Authority published provisional findings setting out that the deal raises competition concerns in relation to both console gaming and cloud gaming services. And I think cloud gaming is going to be the bigger one, but we'll continue here. In the UK, the publication of the provisional findings initiated a period of consultation in which the CMA invited responses to those findings from interested parties and continued to gather further information. This is one of the things that we have to keep in mind too. When they first put out those provisional findings, that was before the news had came out that that Microsoft was making the deals. So they hadn't taken a lot of that into account. And clearly, now that they've taken that into account, specifically Call of Duty going on to PlayStation for 10 plus years on the console itself natively, and they're going to keep everything parity, features, graphics, gameplay, all that type of price. That obviously played a major role into this decision that they made here today. Because the CMA has a significant amount of new evidence, which is what I just mentioned. That's the new evidence that I'm sure that they are referring to, in response to its original provisional findings. Having considered this new evidence carefully, together with the wide range of information gathered before those provisional findings were issued, the CMA Inquiry Group has updated its provisional findings and reached the provisional conclusion that overall, the transaction will not result in substantial lessening of competition in relation to the console gaming in the UK. So that is the massive piece of news right there. They've come to the conclusion that this deal in no way is going to hurt the console market, lead it to be anti-competitive, lead it to be having Xbox be a monopolistic company within the console market. And like I said, the console market definition that has been used for these regulatory bodies has been the Sony PlayStation versus the Microsoft Xbox, without Nintendo being involved there. As they say, it's just a different console. It's not as powerful, has a different user base, and they don't really consider them as part of the high-end console market. So there you have it. Officially, you can say right now, I would argue they aren't out there trying to protect the PlayStation console. They aren't out there trying to protect the PlayStation market dominance, because that's where Sony dominates. It's within the console market. They aren't a player right now in cloud. They won't be able to compete with Microsoft, I don't think, really at any point with their current strategy. That's for sure. So we'll see if anything changes. Now, let's continue on here and read the rest of the article. It says, the most significant new evidence provided to the CMA relates to Microsoft's financial incentives to make Activision games, including Call of Duty, exclusive to its own consoles. While the CMA's original analysis indicated that this strategy would be profitable under most scenarios, new data which provides better insight into the actual purchasing behavior of Call of Duty gamers indicates that this strategy would be significantly loss-making under any plausible scenario. Now, I find this hilarious because They say here that they first thought that they would actually be able to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox and to be profitable. And now they're going back and saying new data suggesting that that is impossible. And that's why they are reducing or eliminating this concern with the console. Where you have people like me and you have many people who've been talking about this objectively, layman's armchair analysis saying it is a terrible financial decision for Xbox to take Call of Duty off of the PlayStation platform. There is no way that the return on investment is going to be good for them. They're going to lose money most likely for a significant amount of time while they try to transfer as many people over to Xbox. And it doesn't make any sense. You look at their previous dealings, business-wise, it would be a bad decision, and there's no reason why they would want to do this other than just, I guess, to spite PlayStation, which we know Microsoft and Xbox aren't about that from all the decisions that they do make. And finally, after the CMA initially thought that they could do it, now they are realizing that it isn't a decision that can be made, as Microsoft will lose money. It will be a bad business decision under most scenarios, they say. So that's what's led them to dropping the concerns with the console. It says, on the basis, the updated analysis now shows that it would not be commercially beneficial to Microsoft to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox following the deal, but that Microsoft will instead still have the incentive to continue to make the game available on PlayStation. I mean, they said this right from the get-go, that they were going to make it available on PlayStation, which they are going to do. The CMA's addendum to this provisional findings today relates only to competition in the supply of consoles, and not in the competition of the supply of cloud gaming services. Now, this is extremely important because I see a lot of people on social media, on Twitter, thinking that the CMA has approved this deal, that they've passed it, that everything is good to go now. This decision here specifically is with the supply of consoles and not with the supply of cloud gaming services, which by and far is the bigger issue here for these regulatory bodies. It is cloud gaming that is a significantly bigger issue than the console gaming market from what we understand. They say where the CMA is continuing to carefully consider the responses provided in relation to the original provisional findings, the CMA's merger investigation continues and it remains due to its final report by the 26th of April 2023. So by the 26th of April, they will have made that decision of the cloud gaming, of the enforcement, and whether they believe both of those issues will be solved or will they lead to the substantial lessening of competition. Now, here is Martin Coleman, chair of the independent panel of the experts conducting the investigation. This is what he says. Provisional findings are a key aspect of the merger process and are explicitly designed to give the businesses involved and any interested third parties the chance to respond with new evidence before we make a final decision. Having considered the additional evidence provided, we have now provisionally concluded that the merger will not result in a substantial lessening of competition in console gaming services because the cost to Microsoft of withholding Call of Duty from PlayStation would outweigh any gains from taking such action. Our provisional view that this deal raises concerns that the cloud gaming market is not affected by today's announcement. Our investigation remains on course for completion by the end of April. So there it is. And again, the cloud gaming thing is what you really want to be aware of going forward as to whether they will make a press release just like this saying that they are removing their concerns for cloud gaming. You would assume that as more information comes out, just like with console gaming, they will most likely come to a very similar decision, especially as Xbox continues to make these cloud gaming deals. And we know that from what Brad Smith has said, it isn't the end. They're going to continue to make deals. This is just the beginning. And in their responses to the CMA, they've said that they are really willing to give these games to anyone who want them. Cloud gaming, any services, they will give it to them. So you would guess with that type of stuff, there would be a chance here that there's going to be another press release saying similarly the same thing, but with cloud gaming. And this is a big step forward, and we're going to know by the end of April what decision they do actually make. So huge news here for Xbox in terms of any concerns about these regulators protecting Sony's console specifically are destroyed. And I guess another thing to keep in mind here is that this is just looking like the steps that need to be taken. The provisional fine, $70 billion acquisition. They're making the decision by the end of April. Everything seemingly seems to be on track for this deal to be passed by the summer. Let's say the very, very least, at least with the CMA and the EU, if they do decide to go that route. And that's what a lot of analysts had said. End of June is when this deal probably will be through. The only one I think the most up in the air right now is the FTC, but I think this is going to have a huge effect on the FTC. with the decision on cloud gaming and the EU. As we know, we've seen reports that the EU is looking to approve this deal right now. Those are all, I think, going to have huge decisions on what the FTC is going to do, and the chances that the FTC comes to a deal with Microsoft before they go to court in August, I think, as more of this stuff continues to happen, is relatively high. But I'm going to leave that there, guys. Let me know what you think about this. Are you happy about this news? Are you sad about this news? I guess it really depends if you care if Xbox or PlayStation truly do win out at the end of the day. But let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.